The day I failed, it felt as though the earth had stopped spinning. Everything I had built, every dream I had fought for, collapsed in a single moment of silence. I remember sitting on the floor, staring at the pieces of a plan that no longer made sense. I thought failure was the end of my story, a punishment for not being enough. But life, in its quiet mercy, had a different intention. It was not trying to end me. It was trying to soften me. Because sometimes you must be broken by your own efforts to understand the meaning of grace. There was once a young scholar who spent years preparing for an exam that would define his future. On the day of the test, he froze. His hands trembled, his mind emptied, and his dream dissolved before his eyes. Shamed and heartbroken, he left the city and wandered into the mountains. There, he met an old gardener tending to wilted flowers. The scholar watched as the man cut away the dying petals. "Why do you cut what can still bloom?" he asked. The gardener smiled. "Because sometimes you must let go of what once was beautiful to make room for what will bloom again." The scholar stayed for months, learning to plant, to wait, and to trust time. When he returned, he no longer sought success. He sought understanding. That is what grace does. It takes away what you thought mattered and gives you what you truly need. I remember my own failure, the one that broke the version of me that cared too much about proving my worth. It was a project I had poured my soul into, and when it fell apart, I disappeared for a while. I stopped answering calls. I stopped trying. But one morning, an email arrived from a stranger who had seen my work. They wrote, "Your words gave me hope when I had none." I sat there, tears falling, realizing that even what I called failure had rippled into someone else's healing. It was in that moment that I learned the quiet power of grace. It meets you where you fall and whispers, "You are still enough." There is a tale of an artist who spent years painting what he thought was perfection. But one day, a child spilled water over his masterpiece. The ink bled, colors merged, and the image blurred. The artist fell to his knees, devastated. But when the morning light touched the canvas, it shimmered with something he had never seen before. The mistake had created beauty beyond his design. From then on, he signed his work not as perfect, but as redeemed. He had learned that grace is not in flawless creation, it is in the willingness to begin again. Failure humbles us. It takes our pride and returns our heart. It reminds us that we are not here to be flawless. We are here to be human. And being human means falling, learning, forgiving, and rising again with softer eyes. Grace does not erase what happened. It transforms how you see it. It turns shame into wisdom, endings into beginnings, and loss into understanding. I used to think grace was only found in sacred places, in temples, prayers, or forgiveness from others. But I found it in the quiet moments after failure, when I looked at myself with kindness for the first time. Grace was not something I had to earn. It was something I had to allow. So, if you are standing in the ruins of something you built, do not rush to rebuild it. Sit among the ashes for a moment. Listen. You will hear life whispering. You are not finished. You are being rewritten. Because failure is not the absence of success. It is the classroom where grace begins to teach. Failure once felt like a verdict, but now I see it as a teacher that introduces us to grace. The quiet strength that lets us rise without resentment and love ourselves again. If this story spoke to your heart, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Legacy Alive, where every story reminds us that growth often begins in the moments we wish had never happened. Tell me in the comments, what has failure taught you about grace, patience, or resilience?